Good evening, everyone, and welcome. We're going to get started here in just a moment. This is and guys, please do go ahead and mute yourselves on the way in. I am going to be sharing my screen. We do have a good amount to cover in a short period of time, although I don't think it will be overwhelming for anybody in terms of the amount of content this evening. All right, so I am going to mute a few people that I still hear on the way in. Hello and welcome. If you guys want to turn on your screens, feel free to do so. If not, that's okay as well. Happy Mondays, happy Money Mondays. So what are we doing tonight? Tonight, we're talking about something that I have really struggled with myself. I see a lot of people still signing on. That's awesome. This is being recorded if you come in late. What we're working on this evening is habit, creating a habit of surrounding your database. What we're finding, agents that I coach, coaches that I talk to, people even in other industries, is that we are falling further and further behind with our databases. We keep saying, well, I need to update it. I need to add these people. I need to group these people. I need to sit in my database, period. And it's just not happening. So I've come up with a system. A lot of this comes from the Core training. As a lot of you, all that coach with me know, I'm coached by a company called the Core. Graduated from their level 3 program and am in a maintenance program with them. It was the best thing I ever did for my business. But even since then, I've noticed myself, so I relate to a lot of you that struggle with these things too. I noticed myself falling behind in my database, and I realized, what did I do in the years 2018, 2019 to change my business? Because what I did was I was plateaued at about a $10 million business. And so that was, pretty decent for most agent standards, but I knew I could do better. I had a big database. I had a messy database, and I wanted to, Sylvia, I like your background. I wanted to update my database, and I knew in my heart of hearts that I wasn't going to sit there and do it for 12 hours at a time. I just knew it. And, a couple of you that I've coached, you've done that. Kudos to you. And I'm just not there. And I find that most of the agents aren't there. So I've created a new system. This is a system that I created based on being, quite frankly, overwhelmed by what Core was asking me to do. So if some of you that are at EXIT Strategy are overwhelmed by what I've coached you on in terms of the CRM, this training is for you. And if you're not with us, a lot of this is still going to apply to you. So what are we doing tonight? Let me go ahead and share my screen here, and then we'll be able to walk you through this. This is a very, again, believe it or not, simple thing that I'm going to show you this evening. So this is 2 slides and 3 browser windows. That's all. Can you believe it? 2 slides and 3 browser windows. So I'm excited to be able to share this with you. So this is what I did. This is 3 browser windows, and 30 minutes a day equals $3 million more in sales. And I personally proved this because my sales went from under 20 million. I did, I think, 18.1 million 3 years ago. And then I went to 21.7 million. Thought that was the best I was ever going to do last year.
Well, from real estate.
I'm sorry, whoever is on, could I mute you? Hi, Jacqueline. I am going to mute you. I think that might have been you or Eve. Got you guys muted now. Thank you. If you are joining us a little bit late, remember this is going to be recorded. So that $3 million jump every year, what is that in GCI? Well, in GCI, that's almost $75,000 in GCI. And all it was these 3 browsers for 30 minutes a day. And so this year being at 25 million versus 18 million 3 years ago, every year I've added to my database, I've cleaned my database up, and we just keep individually having to do that on a daily basis. So let's talk about why this is vital. We all, myself included, struggle to maintain and update our databases, our CRMs. It is tough for you to mentally get in there. We have to create a habit. What is a habit? A habit is something you do daily. How do you create a habit? You do it for 21 days in a row. I'm not going to open up 12 screens tonight and tell you to go to my LinkedIn or my YouTube. I do have a LinkedIn article discussing habit and how I trained myself to be from not a runner to be a marathon runner, barely, thanks to Angela Lakes, who is our business manager at our office and who has run over 20 marathons. It is a habit. Your CRM is a habit. So we struggle to maintain that. We fall out of touch with our most important contacts. I cringe when I meet an experienced agent who I ask, when was the last time you touched base with all your past clients? And they say, I don't know. Or, well, they get a monthly newsletter. You know, it is drinking water. I've got my screen up so you can see me. Drinking water is a habit. I don't like drinking water. I know that if I will not trick myself into drinking it, I won't do it. And that's another thing I learned from some other people, some other coaches. Somebody taught me, a good friend of mine, a VIP of mine, he said, well, get one of these hydrate HIDRATE, hydrate water bottles that when you put it down, it actually is measuring how much you've actually drank. Because what we do is, no matter what you're talking about, running, exercise, water drinking, your CRM, you are telling yourself right now that you're okay, that you've done enough, that you did what you were supposed to do. If we don't measure it, if we don't create a system for it and develop a habit for it, we are lying to ourselves. And I know that for those of you at Exit Strategy, you're going to cringe because I can't see who your contacts are. Those are your contacts in your CRM that I pay for. But those contacts, I can see the activities that you're doing overall. And I know some of you are not updating, adding, or messaging any of those people. What a shame. You are missing out, because when we fall out of touch with our most important contacts, we fall out of future business. We are losing future business. You are taking money out of your own pocket. You fail to acknowledge important events. How often is it that you go by and you suddenly see that it was someone's birthday 3 days ago? Why is that we can't even get it together for that? We fail to acknowledge important events. There's a philosophy within Exit, a really wonderful person within Exit, Annette Anthony. You may have heard her talk about the 7 by 7, 7 things to acknowledge by 7 a.m. And then I heard someone else at Exit update that or upgrade it to 10 things by 10 a.m. Maybe you don't like 7 a.m. hour. I've taught myself through habit to be an early riser, but 10 things by 10 a.m. Well, where do you get those 10 things? That's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to correct failing to acknowledge important events. We're going to correct maintaining and updating our database. And in the process of that, we are going to implement grouping our contacts in a way so that you can more effectively message them. The CRM that I use and that I pay for all Exit agents, Exit Strategy agents, and agents in my coaching program. A couple of you are not at Exit Strategy, but are in my coaching program. I pay for Wise Agent specifically as the best CRM out there. Forbes, the Forbes magazine just ranked them the best CRM. So that's not just me blowing smoke. Get some of that water in there. They have a part of their database tool that sends out 250 text messages at once. Most of you at Exit Strategy got that from me 2 Friday nights ago, where I said, hey guys, here's something for you to send out, and here's the way to do it. That is that text messaging tool. If you don't have people grouped right, guess what? You're not going to be able to use that tool correctly. You're missing out on a way to strategically touch your database. This training tonight will solve that. We don't invite our contacts to events in a meaningful way. Guys, you are all on Money Mondays. You know that almost every Monday night I do a Money Mondays. Our next Money Mondays is on business plans and creating multiple 6-figure income streams. It's another thing that I coach on that I can show you from experience, from wasting the first decade of my career to fixing that my second decade. Let me save you the time and the decade of pain. That is the type of thing that you need to be doing for the consumers. Just like I do Money Mondays at our office, we of course do the monthly events. You have a great new event coming up that I'm going to show you a little bit of tonight, how to send that out to your database, how to excite people. You've got to create a daily habit of updating your database to clean it up. Here's the reality. This is not on the screen. I'm actually going to take myself off the screen for a second because I want you to focus on what we're talking about here. So let me get us out of the screen, and I'm going to actually just stop screen sharing. I want you to see me when I say this to you. If you are not every day for 365 days, the next 365 days, updating each one of your contacts by their birthday, that's what I'm going to show you tonight. That's your first option. you could update them by their birthdays. So every day, just acknowledge the birthdays that come through. I'll show you how to do that here. I'm sorry. Guys, if you are not muted yet, please mute yourselves. 365 days. It took me a full year, but I had the habit. You have the technology, we all do, to update the birthdays. If that's if you have a massive database. So I don't think Lana Reiling's on tonight. Lana has one of the biggest databases I know. She goes, I don't know when I'm going to be able to do this. Now, she did have some all-nighters to fix it. The way that I did it was I said, it's going to be a 365-day course correction, but little, small, have you ever heard of the compound effect? That's one of the books that I love. The compound effect says small things every day create dramatic change over time. Small things every day create dramatic change over time. If you sit there and say you're going to create all that change in a 48-hour bender of your database management, good luck. I wish you the best. I hope you actually do it. 9 out of 10 of us won't. So you've got to create these small, systematic, daily habit changes in order to create the big change over time. The birthday campaign is the first option. That gives you, in 365 days, what will have happened, every single birthday in your database will have been cleaned up. And as you go through that person's day, or going through that person's file that day of the birthday, you're going to clean up everything you need. That's first option. The more aggressive option to do this, and then kind of go on the maintenance program of the birthdays every day, would be to say, I'm going to do a letter a day. So everybody that's already in my database, I have one letter a day. Well, there's only 26 days. So that gives you 1 month. So you've got either the year campaign to fix your world or the month campaign to fix your world. And the month campaign, you get a breather. The year campaign, you can kind of cheat a day or two ahead by saying, okay, I don't want to do this stuff on Sunday. I want to go hang out on a boat or at Jacqueline's pool. I'm going to pick on Jacqueline because she's one of my favorite people. I'm super happy that she's on tonight. She owns the EXIT Realty office in Indiana. If you guys are looking to be dual licensed. So here's my thought. You've got those two options. What is the actual activity going to look like? Well, let me go back to sharing my screen, and I'm actually going to go ahead then and go only into these 3 screens. If you guys have been on most of my trainings before, you know there's like 8,000 browsers open at once. The windows are all slow. So what are these 3 screens you're going to work in? Either, well, they have to be every day regardless. But if you're going to do the letter by letter day over the 26 days, you can quickly course correct and then be on the maintenance program. Either way, my expectation is, here's the reality. Your database is dying every day. Now, that is really depressing, isn't it? You know, I'm pretty much like a love and light, happy person, but that is the reality. There are people, I've been doing this 24 years as a realtor. It's all I've ever done as an adult. Every year, unfortunately, I have at least a client or one client or VIP that passes away, and I'm only 44 years old. You know, as you get older, there's going to be freak things that happen. People move away. We never take them out of our database, ever. They can self-unsubscribe. I always tell people, I'm going to have people in my database until they give me one of 2 fingers, either the thumbs up that they're going to give me a referral or they're going to work with me themselves, or a different finger that I'm not going to give the camera. That's how when they unsubscribe. They can stop the text message. They can unsubscribe to the emails. Cool, no worries. For the rest of the world, I want to always be adding to my database. So there is a circle of life here. I call it's one of my trainings. It's called the social media wheel of life. So yes, this is a little bit of a social media training and a little bit of a CRM training in one. So what are the 3 screens only you are going to have open? Notice there they are. The first one is your CRM. Now, if you're not an exit strategy, you know, maybe you don't have this as your CRM. Okay. This is the CRM we use. I love it. It is the best one out there. Every CRM with any function should be syncing up to your cell phone, to your Google Contacts. So whether you have an iPhone or an Android, it syncs up to your Google Contacts, which sync up to your CRM. Any decent CRM can do that. The best ones will also have the text messaging and the video and all the other stuff that we do. But anyway, whatever CRM you use, that is window 1. Window 2, LinkedIn. Oh no, LinkedIn. For those of you that don't have a LinkedIn profile, wow, we got to get you on one. If you're at Exit Strategy, get into a private coaching session or a small group ASAP. If you are at our office, we also do the advanced posting for you through RoomView. Let me know if you need help on that. Set up a small group coaching on that as well, because that's where you get a lot of those custom posts. If you look at my profile, you should have the same stuff running. If you go in under my activity, which I can, of course, follow your activity as well. If we are connected, all activity, you'll see like why you may need to choose new construction. That video was done by that social media platform I pay for all of you. You have to use LinkedIn, everyone. Here's why you have to use LinkedIn. It has more information on more people than anywhere else and is the only social media platform that allows you to download that content. Okay, the only social media platform that allows you to download the CSV file for each contact you have en masse. So that's huge. But we're not going to be downloading stuff tonight. We're not going to be doing any of that. I simply want you to have your LinkedIn browser open, your CRM browser open, and your third one, Facebook. Why Facebook? LinkedIn has birthdays. LinkedIn has jobs. LinkedIn has promotions, movement in their career. What happens when someone changes a job? Sometimes they move. Good move, bad move, relocation move, we don't know. If someone changes jobs, that is a point to reach out. 7 by 7, 10 by 10. The balance of good news, bad news, no news, all that other stuff falls into their Facebook. You know, you don't see on Instagram or Twitter very much people talking about their birthday. Maybe you'll see a birthday shot afterwards. But on LinkedIn, under notifications, it has birthdays, it has jobs. So look at this. There's work anniversaries, happy birthdays. So do you guys see that? See who's celebrating. Here are the 5 people today that have a birthday. Wow. Wouldn't that be telling me that I might want to do something? I think so. Same way on Facebook. Birthdays, 14 birthdays on Facebook today. Now, I got to tell you, there's some people on here that I really don't need to wish a happy birthday to. And there are some other people on here that I'm like, man, when was the last time I talked to Brad Jessen? When was the last time that I talked to Scott? Mike Woods, I was just with last weekend. Easy update to Mike Woods. I got to tell you, I don't think I have Mike Woods' birthday in my CRM. Another one that was on both of these was Richard. I've known Richard a long time. Richard should be sending me business. Richard is a VIP of mine. Am I doing enough to really keep in touch with him? Probably not. So what am I going to do with these only 3 browser windows? And why is it key we only have these 3, guys? Because you will get distracted. I can guarantee you the minute I open up browser 4 as CNN, Instagram, I start ordering something on Amazon, I am just as bad or worse than anyone else on here and who's watching later, because I can be distracted by a squirrel at any moment. So keep only these 3 open. And once you're in them, you're only going to look at these birthday notifications. So let's go in and let's start. Let's go into Richard's treatment. So I'm going to search by name and hope to the Lord that he is even in here. There he is. And this, of course, now I'm in my CRM. So this is a perfect example. He is not grouped anywhere. He doesn't even have a group. Look at that. So I've got to first off put him in my VIPs. This is the exact point that I was trying to make to you guys earlier. We think that we've got everything done. I just told you that I'm getting $3 million more than last year in GCI, $3 million more than the year before. And here is proof positive that it's still not right. It's never going to be fully right because Richard, maybe I added him later. So look, I added him on May 13th this year. Who knows whether I had him in my phone with only the first name or a nickname. Somehow he eventually got into my CRM. I've known Richard 20 years. Wouldn't you call that a VIP or a potential VIP? I would. So he is now in the VIPs because I want to be able to go in and at the touch of a button, send all my VIPs a message, a text, maybe a video saying, hey guys, I've got the Chicago Artisan Market on Sunday. I've got the Chicago Artisan Market. I've got 2 tickets for each one of you. Here's the link. Those of you guys that are, remember that because that we do those quite often. We have a relationship with the Chicago Artisan Market. One of the events we do every month, there's always something going on. What an easy thing if I'm already spoon feeding you the event, but if you're not sending it out, doesn't matter that we had the event, doesn't matter. And emails get lost in the shuffle. So now that Richard is in my VIPs, what else do I want to make sure? Well, you know what? We don't have his phone number, do we? Wow. This is kind of mind-blowing to me. No wonder I haven't gotten any referrals from my longtime friend. So I'm going to add in his cell phone number, and I'm also going to add in his birthday. Now, I do want to note one thing is that since these trainings are public, I've noticed 2 of mine have gotten flagged now by YouTube because I give away personal information. So maybe because I'm not going to type it in here, I'm going to go back and do it after we're done. But his mobile number is going to go in there. And then the other thing I want to get in there is his birthday. A word to the wise. When you send them a little birthday message today, or even if it's a happy belated one the day after, you know it would be really smart for you to do? You know it would be really smart for you to do? To go ahead and ask them what their information is as far as their home address. Because what if you were going to actually start doing direct mail? What if you were going to actually start whoever that is, please mute yourself. Thank you. You've got to think about doing direct mail. Send them a little birthday card. Send them a little birthday card. Doesn't even have to be a birthday. I've shown this example many times. The yay cards. They should say yes if you know me well. They can be for anything. They can be for anything. So if you're doing this one day at a time, if you go back to the core greatness tracker, they ask you to send out 2 personal notes a day. Well, here's one of my 2. It's going to be Richard. It's going to be Richard. So we have to start getting this into our CRM. The genius of it is as long as you have a decent CRM, it will sync up between your phone and your CRM. So you can do it on your CRM or your phone or both, one or the other. You don't need to do it on both. It will go back to the other piece and it will fix it there. So you really have to figure out what you need to do on each person in order to create a better relationship. So let's go back into the example here. So we've got Richard updated. And now I want to go into Mike Woods. Now, again, I was just with Mike Woods, So let's go ahead and let's get Mike Woods. So let's get his birthday. So his birthday is today. Now, as far as the day, the actual year they were born, let's talk about that for a second. You know, I would put just the day for now if you don't know the actual birth year. A lot of times, by the way, it will be on their LinkedIn. That's why we're on LinkedIn. So Richard, let's go back to Richard as an example. If you click on info for more info on them, see where it says contact info? Once they're your first level person, so, okay, birthday July 11th, doesn't have the year. It does have his email and there's his cell phone number. So it's on there. Might as well go ahead and put it on his account right now since that's public information. I am going to copy that. I'm going to go back to Richard for 1 second. And I am going to update that. So we do have his birthday is today, but we don't have a year. We can go back and figure that out later. And again, as far as phone number, if they've already got a phone number in there, here's what I want to make sure you do.
It's time for your daily stock market update routine.
Every time that stupid Alexa does that, it's giving me my sunset stock reports. Alexa, stop. Sorry about that. So there's a cell phone number. There's his email. There's his birthday. As you go through these people, here's what else I want you to make sure you do. Make sure that if they're in your CRM, that they're also on your LinkedIn and your Facebook. So Mike Woods, I don't know whether he's in, look at this. That's not the Mike Woods that I know. He's an attorney. So see how this takes a little while, guys? If you are not, by the way, in the mindset of taking time to get the rest of this information, here's what you're going to lose out on. This is exactly the technique I use for the multi-channel campaign. Go ahead and in the chat, put in there if you are interested in anything related to short sales, expireds, canceleds, or are currently doing that. Go ahead and let that in the chat. Put that in the chat if you're 7. All right, I see a bunch of you going in there. So while you're doing that, 8, I'm going to go ahead and connect with Mike. Look at this. Mike Woods, good friend of mine, general counsel at Arano USA. Don't you think I'd want to make sure that Mike sees all that I'm posting and that I'm really good at what I do? Yep. This is where I personally am still every day finding a gap, adding someone new, creating a circle of life. I hear a lot of times from people, they say, it sounds like you're doing really great, or I saw your post, congratulations on that sale. I'm not texting everybody saying, look what I just did. What's happening is people are seeing the social media and they're creating an impression in their own minds. Okay. We are the author of our own story on social media. We are the ones creating the content. Mike Woods, luckily I was with him over 4th of July weekend. Actually, he was in my Instagram story, but guess what? Not on my LinkedIn where all the best content is. We have to start doing that because for somebody like a stranger, so suppose you go ahead and do, I'm not going to open any more browsers tonight. I promise myself that, but I have an entire video on the expired campaign, the multi-channel campaign. This stuff works for strangers almost even better than your own people, your own VIPs. Here's why. These strangers, you're starting to build a relationship with, and they don't know you. They don't know your background. They didn't spend time with you over the 4th of July weekend. Those are the people that really you create that, what I call a relationship orbit with, through LinkedIn, through Facebook. And then when you have your 3rd or 4th attempt at a touch with a stranger you're trying to prospect, it's going to go much, much better. So this technique works for any type of leads. If you pay for Zillow, God bless you, Zillow leads, partner agent programs, all the different stuff out there. And obviously your core VIPs. I've known Richard for 20 years and here I am. He didn't even have his birthday in there. All right. That is a great example of why I need to clean my database up on an ongoing basis, because people drift in and out, ebb and flow out of your orbit. They become vital to you. You need to acknowledge that and know that just because they're in your phone doesn't mean that everything is in there all the way. That's why you can't just sit there and go, well, I acknowledge their birthday. Open up your CRM and make sure they're correctly done. Because again, now let's go into Mike Woods. So there's Mike Woods. I want to make sure and put Mike Woods on some sort of, I'm not sure if VIP because he's out of town. Maybe. I don't know. I got to think about that. I got to think about that for a second. So maybe I need to create a category called out of town VIPs. Either way, Mike Woods needs to be in my database. He needs to be in my database in some capacity. So we have got to start cleaning up our databases right away, because this is prime example of people that look on here on the right-hand side. Number of texts, 0. Number of calls, 0. Number of emails, 0. It is lucky that he and I are good friends, but how would you know? How would my assistant know if you have an assistant working in your CRM? That's the whole point of all this, is that if you go into any good CRM, and again, Wise Agent to me is the best, you can link it up to your Gmail so that the conversations with that person are right in the Gmail, but it's only those. So your assistant isn't getting all the emails from your mom or whoever else is on your radar that day. You also can connect it to your Google Calendar. Why would you not click on integrations and settings? Why would you not want to make sure that your Google Calendar is linked right there? Because then obviously all these people moving forward, it'll be in your calendar. So you don't have to open up all these browser windows after the first year, except why wouldn't you? Because look at this, after doing this since 2018 and up to the sales volume that I'm at, I'm still catching big gaps and people that I've met since then. And actually, this is a great example. You know when I met Mike? 2019 on another vacation. Mike and I ended up in the same vacation group together. I get a lot of business out of that group. How is it? By the way, look, Facebook told me he's 44 years old. So now I'm going to go back in there and fix that and get his actual birthday, because that means he was born in 78, the same year as me. All right, so I have shown you the 3 windows. I've given you the reasons why. I would like to know what questions you guys have. I will go ahead. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I can read any questions that, if there are any personal ones. Hopefully you didn't put them in there, but I'm going to check anyway. What questions do you guys have? I love that you guys are all wanting to do expireds and canceleds. Does this make sense as a habit? When would you do this? Well, I'm glad you asked. I promised you I wouldn't open up another window, but well, sorry. One more window. I'm going to open up my calendar. And I'm going to show you how I do this. Every day from 9 to 11 a.m., I time block for lead generation. I time block for it. See that there on my calendar? Oh, you can't because I have stopped sharing my screen. All right, every day, I time block from 9 to 11, knowing darn well that things are gonna pop in that interrupt that, but I gotta make that time up later. It is creating a habit. If you don't time block for the habit, by the way, look at this working already. What did we add? Mike Woods and Richard Streetman. There they already are in my Google Calendar, guys. There they already are in my Google Calendar. Instant sync. It's not really instant. It's like 10 minutes, but look at that. That is good stuff. So you time block, do it in the morning. My miracle morning, I work out, I sit down and I lead generate. And that is my morning. By the afternoon, in theory, I could really go do God knows what, probably get into some trouble back in the day. But in reality, that's when I'm with our agents coaching. So, all right, y'all, that's it. Not hard, just a habit.
You actually have a mental break scheduled in your calendar.
I do have a mental break on Saturdays. Yes, I'm supposed to be on Saturday morning doing nice things around the house. Supposed to. Supposed to. Yes, so I do try to, my goal is on the weekends to now be taking at least like one full day off, which Sunday I did, which was pretty cool. Sunday I did. Caprice, definitely get in touch with me on time blocking. It has saved my world, seriously saved my world. Way back in the day, what I would do before I owned an office or coached agents, I would tell myself, if I got my workout in and 2 appointments set, that was my challenge myself back in the day, 2 appointments set by noon, or whenever I got it done, I was done for the day till I actually had client appointments. Because if you think about it, when do the clients want to see stuff? Nights and weekends for the most part. So you have the opportunity to get this stuff done and over with and really seize the day to do whatever you want. That is how I'm able to be with our agents all afternoon, is my work is done. My work is done. So next time, let's talk about next time, since we got a couple minutes here.
I have a question.
Okay, Edna, go ahead with your question then. Sounds good.
You have two calendars, one for personal and one for us?
Nope. Well, yeah, well, let me change that. I have one master calendar. So when you're looking at this calendar, you see the stuff in red, that is my calendar. So my calendar is appointments with all of you that you've set, etc. The calendar you see for the office, if you're at EXIT Strategy, is in blue. So you don't need to see my calendar. You just know when I'm available, in addition to all the events that we have. So you know what's coming on, like tonight. There's Money Mondays. There was my schedule with you guys earlier today. There was my taking the designation class with Marky earlier tonight. I think a couple of you were on it. It was good stuff. Find out Friday's Friday. There's all that stuff. Okay. There's all that stuff. And right now, every day, and this has been like this for many years, the morning is reserved to generate leads. The afternoon is reserved for you guys. The evening is reserved for clients. And I got to tell you, a lot of the clients, they really, even if they say they can see stuff at any time, you set expectations with them and you set your schedule so that you protect your time, your lead generation time first and foremost. One more note on that. I've said this many times before. If you do not lead generate and you focus on your existing deals when you start your day, what happens? You don't have any future deals. That's why my entire first decade, I yo-yoed. I make 40,000 and then I make 100,000. Then I make 40,000. You can't live on that in the city. That's just wild. And it would be because I'd have a great spurt and then I have no spurt because I would always be putting out fires. I should have had a little firefighter hat on. The fires will burn until the early afternoon. Let people know you'll get back with them at 1 p.m. and then get your future business built so that you and your family actually have a foundation to do other things. You know, the whole point of a real estate license, in addition to selling and buying for other people, is to sell and buy for yourself. That's what we're going to talk about on our next Money Monday. So I want to go to that real quick. It is in 2 weeks because next week I have the delightful excitement of hosting my condo board meeting, which I do way too often. In 2 weeks, it's already up on the Eventbrite. All you've got to do to register is text GROW with EXIT Strategy to 85377. I'm going to show you how exactly to make multiple income streams. And it's a lot easier at EXIT than it is at any other company. I know because I tried somewhere else, as did some of you that are on here, that we all came from the same company. I will tell you that this next one, it is just mandatory to me that you get your business plan in order and we get real, because this real estate market is changing. It's not crashing, but it's changing. Consider it a gift, a silver lining, that you and I both have time right now to go back in and review, change, amend, or God forbid, actually do our first business plan. Okay. So that is what we're going to be doing in 2 Mondays from today. Go ahead and register. Text GROW with EXIT Strategy to 85377. 85377. And that is like for all of you guys. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out. Find out Fridays is at noon. I'm going to be at the suburban office on Wednesday. Going to be at North Avenue tomorrow. I think Cottage Grove on Friday. I'm all over everywhere. And I'm always online. Thank you guys very much for being here. I appreciate your time. Subscribe on YouTube because that's where this video is going. Bye-bye.